Hi, my name is Stephen McGee and I'm the author of Toxic Electricity. I'm here to talk about a subject of toxic electricity, and that is utility meters. And we're going to talk about the Itron 100G data logging meter. It's a gas meter and it looks just like that. So behind that set of dials is a bunch of electronics and a battery and a transmitting device. And this is a class of meter that's known as an automatic meter reader. And this particular meter actually transmits its meter reading every several seconds. And it does it at a power rate of up to 500 milliwatts. So 500 milliwatts is actually quite high powered. It's actually half a watt of transmission energy. And it's done at your home. So you basically have a very high-powered wireless transmitter on the side of your home. And this is a concern because the International Agency for Research on Cancer and the World Health Organization have classified radio frequency electromagnetic fields as possibly carcinogenic to humans. And you may have one of these on the side of your home as well. So this is what the electrical meter looks like. It's the equivalent device. And these all fall into a series of devices known as automatic meter readers. Now, they're very clearly a violation of the right to life laws. So you should get familiar with the right to life laws, because people strapping possibly carcinogenic devices onto the side of your home is not really in your interest. So you may see some very strange problems in your children around these devices. You have to remember that when somebody comes along and straps one of these wireless devices onto your home, that your home is now filled with wireless energy, which is possibly carcinogenic. And the thing that you're going to see before cancer, a long time before cancer, is behavioral problems and health problems. And it's been noticed in children. So you subject children to electronic signals and they start showing some strange behaviors. Now, most of the information regarding the toxicity of these meters is regarding smart meters, and the AMR meter is a type of smart meter. Smart meter is just a class of device that's made to integrate with your appliances. So the AMR is in the classification of a radio frequency transmitting device, as is a smart meter. So you want to find out more about this subject. It's commonly documented as smart meters. And here's a smart meter sign. It's designed to go onto the side of your property. And there's a website right there, so you can find out more information by going to that website. So it turns out that there's quite a few books available on the toxicity of wireless communications and the human body. And this one is a very interesting book, and it's actually available as a free download. It's actually published in 2001. And it's actually written by somebody who spent decades developing wireless radiation devices. And he says they're extensively toxic, biologically toxic to the human. In a similar vein, we have Public Health SOS, and this talks about the toxicity of wireless communications. As does this book. This is Disconnect by Deborah Davis. And over here, what you're going to get from these devices before you get cancer is this range of conditions. So you can see the top condition is what showed up in me when this device went on my home, which was fatigue. And then I started getting some very strange tiredness of a morning, and it became very hard to get out of bed. And then that was followed by mental functioning impairment, commonly known as fuzzy thinking. And this is when I got to the fuzzy thinking that I had to abandon my bed. So that's where I'm up to with this Itron 100G right now. So it's actually so biologically toxic that I can no longer use my bed. And needless to say, I'm not too happy about the fact that I can no longer use my bed, because I spent a lot of money on my bed, as I did on my house. So I've basically, Southwest Gas have rendered my master bedroom as essentially uninhabitable. because of the health conditions that have showed up since that meter was installed at my property. And I should add that there's also a second meter at my property, which is 15 feet away, which is installed at the neighbor's home. So I actually have two of these devices down the side of my house, which means I have 1 watt of transmission energy. So when I saw this fatigue show up, I clearly knew it was radio frequency sickness because I researched the subject. And I took the precaution of moving my computer into the master bedroom because it was previously in my office, and my office is much closer to where the meters are. So if you want to reduce the symptoms of radio frequency sickness, the simplest way to do it is to get as far away from the radio frequency devices as you can. But I have to say, in January, it was fatigue. In February of 2013, it progressed into being very difficult to wake up of a morning, and very hard to get out of bed of a morning, and then with fatigue pretty much most of the day. And then by March, they rendered my bed unusable, and I now have to sleep on the floor. So this is my bed now. So I have this very, very nice bed over here, which is unusable, and now I have this horrible bed that I have to sleep in to make sure that I don't get this fuzzy thinking that showed up in March. So I have to say, I don't particularly like Southwest Gas right now, nor do I like Itron, nor the 100G transmitting meter. And I'm going to show you why sleeping on the floor actually works with this RF meter. So we're going to take some RF meters readings, and we're going to see what we actually get. So I'm going to hold it slightly above the bed, and we can see what the meter readings are. So we're getting about 110 millivolts per meter over this bed, and it varies. These fields are patchy. You can see it's a little bit lower on this side of the bed. So we're getting about maybe 60 millivolts per meter over on this side of the bed. So we drop down to the floor and run it over where I'm now sleeping. We can see that the readings are much lower. And most RF engineers know that if you want to get out of a radio frequency field, you have to get very, very close to the ground. And that's why I now sleep on the ground to get out of the Itron 100G field that it produces. And I sleep much, much better down here. And I can't go back into my bed because I know I'm going to get fuzzy thinking and start waking up hungover every day. And I don't particularly like that feeling. So that's the science behind it. So there's a radio frequency gradient, and it's at its lowest at the ground. And the higher up you get off the ground, the more toxic, the more biologically toxic the radio field gets. So that's why I sleep down here and feel much better than up here and feel like junk. So thank you, Southwest Gas. You've turned my bed into a biologically toxic environment. And I'd like to remind you, Southwest Gas, that you do not have my permission to have this device on my property, and you didn't have that permission in 2012. I've also reminded you in 2013 that you don't have that permission, but you're leaving your biologically toxic 100G data logging transmitting meter on my house despite my clear instructions to you to remove it. So I will be sending you another letter. It'll be my third set of communications to you shortly, summarizing the conditions I've identified associated with this device, and I am in agreement with the World Health Organization that you have actually installed a possibly carcinogenic device on my home, and the initial conditions that are showing up are fatigue, fuzzy thinking, and very lethargic in the morning, and a feeling of being hungover every morning. So your device is definitely affecting me, and you need to remove it at the earliest possible opportunity. I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and I wish you the very best of health. Thank you.